So Young Thug's lifestyle video actually got played in court, and I'm not gonna lie to you, when I saw this headline, I was laughing to myself a little bit because does it get any more Atlanta than Young Thug's lifestyle getting played in an actual courtroom? And listen, I gotta tell you, I'm in my 15th year of practicing law. I've never heard a rap song being played in court, but this is definitely a different type of case. And again, you know, we're in Atlanta, and I think the only thing that could be more Atlanta is Outkast being played in the courtroom. Not the Three Stacks Flute album, but you know, real Outkast, Players Ball, Rosa Parks, something like that. But yeah, lifestyle ends up getting played in court, and there's a reason why, and we're gonna get into that a little bit. But it's interesting how, you know, music is really a time capsule, and it could take you back to certain periods. And you know, I looked up again when this came out, you know, the summer of 2014, and this was actually my introduction to Young Thug. I hadn't heard of Young Thug before 2014. Looked it up, you know, he started back in 2011, but he got his mainstream breakthrough in 2014, and he had that run where he had About the Money, where he was a feature artist on that Tip track. So when T.I. dropped About the Money, you remember hearing Young Thug on that, and then Lifestyle drops, and those actually dropped in the same week. So that was just a really dope run, and I really remember those were both, you know, produced by London on the Track, both fire tracks. And you know, remember being in the club or getting ready, you know, pre-gaming and having those play, you know, was a cool memory to go back to. And now we hear about this getting played in an actual courtroom. So, you know, Judge Glanville was asking the defense attorney, Brian Steele's Young Thug's attorney, and you know, the judge was asking, what do you seek to accomplish? Why are you wanting to play this in front of the jury? Because the judge is the gatekeeper. He has to make sure that whatever gets presented to the jury is going to be relevant and admissible evidence. He wanted to play the track in court so that he could then make his argument in terms of why the video is admissible and why it's relevant. If you think about it, just, you know, if you ever got into an argument with somebody, you're arguing about X, Y, and Z, and then they come with some side argument out of nowhere, and you're like, that has nothing to do with what I'm complaining about. It functions in the same way in terms of relevant evidence. The judge has to make sure that the jury is not hearing just random, irrelevant evidence. It's gotta point to the main issues, the heart of the case. And so in this situation, Brian Steele was basically arguing that there were 3 reasons why this video should be admitted. He was talking about there are people that were wearing shirts that had the letters RG on it. And the RG stands for Rich Gang, and Rich Gang, as you know, was the collaboration between Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan. And so he wanted to make sure that it was known that this is, you know, a music collaboration versus some other gang offset or something like that. There was nothing illegal about what they had going on with Rich Gang. The other thing was, in the video, there are a number of people wearing red, and red being associated with Blood Gang, but Young Thug in that video is not wearing red. And so Mr. Steele is trying to disassociate Young Thug from the wearers of the red in terms of making the argument that he is not a gangster. The last thing was, again, to establish the relationship between Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan as a musical collaboration versus some sort of criminal co-conspirator type relationship. Brian Steele wanted to get this in through Trontavious Stephens, who's a state's witness. And as you know, he is alleged to be one of the co-founders of YSL as a gang. He did testify on the stand for the prosecution that YSL is a gang. It seems like he's kind of gone another direction, as you know, under cross-examination, indicating that, you know, YSL is the record label. But nonetheless, the defense attorney Brian Steele wanted to get Lifestyle out, I think in support, as part of his cross-examination, to illustrate the point that Young Thug is a musical artist and not a gangster. And so the judge found that, hey, the video Lifestyle would be highly relevant as to establishing those things. The defense has a right to present its defense in that the prosecution is saying that YSL is not only a record label, but also a street gang, the defense has the opportunity to present any information that would suggest that it is merely a record label. And if there is a street gang, that Young Thug is not a gangster and part of that. And so the judge found that the lifestyle video would be admissible for that effect, but Trontavious Stephens is not the right witness to get that in through. So he said, if you want to call Birdman, if you want to call your client, if you want to call Rich Homie Quan in order to lay the foundation for what's going on in the video, what it means, and all that explanation, you can do that. But Mr. Stephens just is not the right witness to be able to lay the foundation for that. So, you know, they played lifestyle in court, and you could see some of the defense attorneys were kind of low-key nodding their heads. The people accused, I mean, for the most part, were, you know, stoic, straight-faced. Obviously, you know, some of these guys are facing many years in prison, potentially life, and, you know, it's not a game. It's not something to mess around with. But I gotta be honest, I done found it hard to just sit still in my seat and not bump to that, because it sounded like they had good speakers too. But yeah, you know, at some point, the jury will likely hear lifestyle. It's just not gonna come in through Mr. Stephens. We'll see, because Birdman is actually a witness on the DA's list. Rich Homie Quan might be as well, but at some point, yeah, through one of those individuals, we'll hear lifestyle, and the jury will too. So that's it for that. If you got something out of this video, show me some love, hit the like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a new video when it drops. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.